Today, we're planning a 16-day road trip for 2 people, 14 amusement parks, and a lot of roller coasters. If we were to pay for this at retail prices, we would spend almost $7,000. And I'll admit, as a CPA, there's no way that we would be willing to pay that much for this trip. Today, I'm going to show you how to do this exact same trip for under $2,500. That's a 65% savings. We're going to show you the audit trail of how we did it, from the hotels we booked for free to the coaster map I built to plan the route. So as my son and I were planning out this trip for the summer, we knew we had a 2-week time period. We wanted to hit up as many amusement parks and roller coasters as we could. And so one of the first things I did is created a U.S. coaster map out of Wanderlog. This is a free resource. I'm going to link it down in the details for this video. So if you want to use it for your own planning, feel free to do so. One of the things I was having a hard time visualizing is where all the parks were in relation to one another and how many amusement parks could we fit in a 2-week period in the Northeast. And so having all of those on the U.S. coaster map was very helpful. We planned out and figured that we could travel and see 14 amusement parks, probably over 100 roller coasters along the route, and mapped them all out in Wanderlog, as you'll see here on the screen. We're looking at several trips or several parks along the way. Among those are Camden Park. We're looking at Kings Dominion, Busch Gardens, Adventure Park, USA and Maryland, Hersheypark, Knoebels, Dorney, Six Flags, Greatest Adventure, Lake Compounce, Six Flags New England, Six Flags Great Escape, Six Flags Darien Lake, Cedar Point, and wrapping things up at the Columbus Zoo at the end of the day. And so a lot of great parks on the list, a lot of great roller coasters that we're looking for along the way. Like I mentioned, I made this map public. The links are in the descriptions if you'd like to clone it for your own road trip. Now let's talk about some of the savings. How were we able to achieve that $4,000 in savings on this trip? Well, the big one is saving on hotel fees across the trip. We're staying for over 15 nights. I expect that the retail cost for those stays alone would have been over $3,000. My cost on that is $6. And why the $6? I think there's some parking fees that we'll have to pay at one of the hotels that we're staying at. The big savings here is using credit card points. I personally like the Marriott chain, and we've got some Marriott Rewards Amex cards that will fund the entire hotel cost for the trip. We like to stay at Residence Inns when we're out traveling and doing these kinds of trips. The Residence Inns are great for a couple reasons. One is that they have a lot more room than a typical hotel room. So you've got a little bit of room to spread out. They're reasonably priced. And another big benefit for them is you're going to be eligible for free breakfast. And so, most days at the amusement park, you're not going to be necessarily looking for breakfast there, but you can get a great breakfast early in the morning before you head out. And then, that'll fuel that first part of that amusement park trip for you. The Residence Inns are also great a lot of them have some full kitchen availability. So they've got a fridge, stove, dishwasher, and all of that. And so, even if you're not eating all of your lunches and dinners at the parks along the way as you're traveling, you're going to be able to go, hit a quick Walmart on the way, cook yourself some real food outside of amusement park food for those meals in which you're going to be back in the hotel, and just gives you a little bit of sense of normalcy along the trip. The next big item that we're saving a lot of money on this year is in theme park admission. So you might have noticed here on the worksheet, you'll see a lot of entries for $70.06. It's kind of a weird number. You'll see that across a lot of the parks. I'm allocating a part of my park pass, my annual pass for the Six Flags Cedar Fair parks this year, and allocating, just to be fair, some of that cost to our trip, even though we would have spent that money already at our home park here at Kings Island regardless. But nevertheless, we've got $70 allocated in there, and that's a prorated cost for admission. That's for 2 meals a day, for drinks as well. And honestly, we don't expect to spend a whole lot of money at our Six Flags parks this year. Luckily, my son isn't a bit too big into games. We're not big into upcharge or other items like a lot of theme park. All right, we're going to be getting into another big savings item for you here on my worksheet. You'll notice there's a lot of admission charges that are discounted, and a lot of them are listed as $70.06. That is the allocated cost that I allocated to all of the Six Flags and Cedar Fair parks. We've already got an annual pass, and we've got the all park passport this year, which is great. For this year, it's going to cover all the Six Flags amusement parks as well as the Legacy Cedar Fair amusement parks. And so that's great. All of our park admission is covered with our All Parks Pass. We've got the All Parks dining plan as well as drink privileges. And we bought an all park fast lane for this year, specifically for this trip. We're only going to have limited time at each of these parks. We want to make the most of them, get in as many roller coasters as we can. And so that allocated cost of $70 is showing up for each of the park admissions. But that includes a lot. Like I said, that includes all of the meals that we're expected for the day. We're not real big on games and t-shirts and anything like that. So we don't expect to spend a whole lot other than, hey, there'll probably be some snacks along the way. We need some funnel cakes probably to fuel our trip. But, that $70 is actually going to go a long way that we've allocated in here. Keep in mind, if you're evaluating trips like this, that all park passport is an add-on item now. It's reasonably priced, and you don't have to go the fast lane route. You could just go with the season pass, the all park access, meals, drinks, and you're going to come up with a pretty reasonable price if you're going to visit, a couple of these amusement parks along the way. The third item we're saving a lot of money on is food and drinks. And I've already talked about this a little bit, kind of goes in with our entire strategy here of wanting to stay at the Residence Inn. We've got the free breakfast. We've got the kitchen in case we need to pick some meals up at the end of the day or have some snacks. We've got the fridge available there. But once again, that all park dining plan is a big one here. That'll cover 2 meals a day, 4 hours apart at the parks. So we're planning on lunch and dinner at the parks. We'd probably spend $90, $100 per day just on food, honestly, if we were paying retail prices there. And so, all of those costs are cut out here at the Six Flags parks. For the non-Six Flags ones, hey, we do have to hit some of those Knoebels and Hersheypark, and there's a few along the way that we for sure want to hit up. We're definitely going to be paying for food there. It's going to be expensive, but we're making up for it at the other parks. All right, so what's the final budget here for our trip? I estimate that the retail price for this trip would have been about $7,000. We're going to pay less than $2,500. And that's going to be split up. Probably about half of that is admission charges. And by the time you look at parking and doing some fast pass at a couple of the parks that we're looking at, you're coming up with about $1,600 of just admission costs across the trip. And that's well over half of our expense for the trip. We're looking at out-of-pocket meals to be about $360. Like I said, once again, a lot of that's going to come from our free dining plan. Hotel comes in at $6. There's some parking charges, what I estimate we'll have to pay. Gas is coming in just a little under $200 for the trip. I've got budgeted in $240 for snacks. We'll have to see how well that holds out. We'll do some audits along the way and see how we do on the snack side. And we haven't included any souvenirs in the budget here. I'm sure there'll be some of those along the way, honestly. But my son has some of his own money saved up for the souvenir category. So hopefully we'll limit spending there as well. So all of this is coming in at a cost of $24.87, and I think that'll be a great deal for this year. If you want some help along the way planning, if you'd like a copy of the spreadsheet template, let me know in the comments. Also, put down in the description here the link to the Wanderlog map resource that has got every amusement park location in the United States that has at least two roller coasters. And so it's not everything, but we're covering about 600 of the 800 roller coasters in the United States. You can see them on a map, how visually they're spread out across the country to help and aid in your planning. And I hope it'll be a great resource for you and your family as you're looking to build a budget amusement park trip with lots of roller coasters for this year.